welcome to Journey Through the Interverse. I am so excited to be here tonight. I'm excited every time we chat, but this one is really special because we have a very special guest with us tonight. Wirmind, how are you doing? And thank you so much for being here.
I'm doing fantastic. I'm very, very happy to be here tonight.
Awesome. Yeah. What about you, Alexis? How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I have to say, I feel like today was calm. And I feel like lately we have not had a whole lot of calm days, but today was pretty calm, pretty manageable. So, how are you?
In this moment, I'm doing awesome. I think as soon as I joined the Zoom room, um my energy just shifted as it generally does.
Yeah.
I had a pretty okay day. It was like a little bit like it was a little rough midway through the day, just like parenting stuff.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I feel really good right now, and that's really what matters. And you just got to take it day by day. Like I've been saying, like emotional presence, or like, yeah, just being okay with your emotions and just not making it a whole thing because I can spiral. All of us can spiral. And so I'm just happy that I'm practicing that. So, and I'm good in this moment. So that's what matters. So, let's see what's going on with the astrology right now. I mean, I feel like everything feels kind of quiet and chill. I mean, my dream space has been really interesting, and I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about that,
Hmm.
about our dream space. But yeah, I think with the astrology, I feel actually nothing crazy has been going on, knock on wood. Like I don't really have anything major to report this week.
No, I think Mars went into Aries
Yeah,
today,
today or
Mm.
and
tomorrow.
I think that's really the only thing that I noticed.
Yeah. Yeah, which is really good though. I feel like with Mars and Aries, it's like Mars is action, desires,
Yeah.
passion, will. And within an Aries, it's at home, it's comfortable. So it feels like that alignment. I feel that. And also I feel like the inspired action. Like even though like I haven't or I've been doing things, I've been making moves, but I feel internally like the inspiration. And I think also just with the change of the season and everything I feel really excited to like just be outside and just get things moving. So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Cool.
No,
So,
I agree with
yeah. We have someone here in the chat, Sophia Taylor. I don't know if that's Warmine, is that someone you're familiar
Hey,
with?
Sophia. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, thanks for being here. Thanks for saying hi in the chat. And if anyone else is watching us live, feel free to say hello. Let us know how your dream space has been and your thoughts or questions regarding our topic tonight. Also, if you're watching the recording, feel free to just share in the comments, say hello, or like your thoughts about what comes up for you during our conversation. So, before we get into the meat of this conversation, we do have two announcements to share. I'll share first that I have a dream class coming up on April 26th online via virtual craft school as always. It's going to be overcoming nightmares and anxious dreams. I've taught this class before. It's honestly, I have so much experience with this. Yeah. So, come and chat and be in a safe space where we can really share about these really intense and activating dreams. So if you're curious, you want to learn more information or want to sign up, the link to do that is in the description of this video.
And the another announcement we have is Dreamigos, of course. So if you guys don't already know, Urania and I are dream experts on the dream app Dreamigos. You can find this on the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. It is a dream recording app where you can record your dreams in a variety of different ways and keep them private for yourself, or you can have the option to put them on the dream line where you can get guidance and interpretation from dream experts like Urania and I. We also get access to, I believe, two monthly dream circles. One is a normal dream circle that's instructed by one of us, or we have kind of like a round table experience. And the other one is a sofa chat. So it's more of like a down to earth, like more community based, casual conversation. So if you haven't downloaded that today, go do it.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So, Wirmind, I am so excited to hear your story because I haven't heard it actually. So, I'm always curious how people just really fall into, like, of course we all pay it, well, not all of us, but a lot of us pay attention to our dreams and are fascinated by them, but to like be in constant connection with your dream space and really be present with the guidance and so forth. Not a lot of people really have that devoted path. And so we would love to hear, how you got into dream work and develop your own practice with it.
Yes, yes, thanks. So I've always been able to remember my dreams as a child, but I never took it seriously. It was just kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, I remember them. Until I did acid when I was 20. So almost 10 years now, and it just changed my entire worldview about the world at large. I feel like I've always kind of been a little bit curious about reality, and I would notice certain synchronicities in my life when I was young, but never like really diving deeply into it or kind of really feeling at one with the world, if that makes sense. I've always kind of felt different. I'm an Aquarius, so I just always kind of felt different and just never kind of really understood why and things of that nature. So after I did acid, or during my journey, I saw like everything was alive, and that was when I realized like I'm alive too. Like it's one thing to like know it logically, and then another thing to like feel like, oh my gosh, I'm a part of this great network that is involved, that involves the trees and the grass and the air and all of these things. So after that journey, I remember talking with a friend. I forgot how I got into it, but I found out about lucid dreaming. I had never lucid dreamt before. And she told me that I should write my dreams down and that I would lucid dream. So I started to do that. And ever since then, I just became so enamored with dreams. It went beyond lucid dreaming. It's like that was my beginning, like why I got interested. But then I started finding out that there was more to dreams than just lucidity. And ever since then, I've just been like so just obsessed and immersed in it because I just feel like it is the doorway into the nature of reality, into other aspects of life itself.
Mm, wow, that's incredible. I can't even imagine. I mean, it makes sense that LSD would open that door for you. But like to have that experience, did you feel that it kind of like the LSD journey, it almost kind of it doesn't it feel like the dream realm and it kind of just is like an
Yes.
extension of the dream space. And it's like, so when you are dreaming and when you have that connection, it's like you can almost like tie in that journey as well. Like it's like you're going, like it's a continuation, basically.
Yes.
That sounds really exciting.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I love about it too, just that psychedelic aspect of it. Because after I did LSD, I still did it a couple times after that, but it was never like that first time. And it was kind of like I was chasing that first time. Like I'm like, okay, now I know that the trees are breathing and the air and everything's alive and stuff like that. But it's like I always want to be there knowing. And then it's like the dream space allows me to be there knowing that. And that's what I love about it.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
That's such a great like comparison. Like I haven't done LSD before. I've done shrooms, which is a whole other thing, but I haven't done LSD before, and I always wanted to, but I don't know. There's not like you can get weed kind of anywhere. You really can't get LSD anywhere. So it was just one of those things that kind of passed me over. Like I didn't know where to get it, so I just never did it. But I've heard that it is very much like that dream realm type of energy, and I would love to have that experience. But I guess I do have that experience constantly whenever I go to sleep because of that, dream experience. But it's just so cool to connect the two. I love that aspect of like, you're alive, but once you like actually feel alive and you actually understand how big existence is. And I always love to think about like, things are bigger and bigger and bigger, and like we're in a galaxy, in a universe that's never ending and always expanding and always growing, it's kind of the same thing, like going down to like all of the microorganisms that make up our system, and like even further down to the atoms and everything like that. It's just, it's so expansive. And once you start kind of acknowledging all of that, you have such a broad appreciation for life as a whole, and you realize that it's way more complex than anybody ever explained to you. And like there's just, it's just such a beautiful experience. So I love that you kind of entered that with that LSD experience and tied into the dream realm, and all of these things kind of just blossomed for you.
Yeah, it was like the I was kind of like after that happened, I began seeking more and more. I was just like, "Oh my God, I need to know more about this." I was reading books about it. I was searching up online, researching all of these things. I ended up having a dream mentor afterward who I found on a podcast, and I just wanted to simply be in the space of dreams constantly. And I just felt like it changed me on a cellular level, like the LSD like changed me and allowed me to transverse, which I love the name of. One of the reasons why I love the name of this podcast is like transverse my innerverse. Like literally, it's like I didn't know the innerverse existed, and then it's like pop, like the Big Bang. Like I always, what I used to say, and like after I was because I used to be really big into like Christianity after my LSD journey and all these things. I was in like every single religion and like studying all of these things. And so I used to call it the before Christ and the after Christ. And I'm like, before Christ was before I did LSD. And I'm like, sure, that's what they're talking about in the Bible. Like they're talking about a psychedelic journey and the awakening that happens after. But it just changed so much, and I couldn't believe it, and I was like talking to everybody about it. And I feel like that's why my dreams especially changed, because like I said, as a child I would dream. They weren't particularly vivid. I didn't have lucid dreams. They were just kind of normal mundane dreams. And then afterward, it was a whole new world in my dream space. So to be able to look back and see how my dreams were as a child and growing up, and then see them now, it's just completely different. Even just the feel and whatnot. Because I used to teach, and I would talk to my kids about dreams. And you know, a lot of children, they have very fantastical dreams with you know, mythical creatures and things of that nature. They're doing a bunch of stuff, astral projecting and all these things. And I wasn't doing that in my dreams. I was into fantasy as a child, but I can't say that I remember a point where fantasy entered my dreams. But now, oh my God, all the times I'm seeing giants and fairies and mermaids and all of these things that are like associated with like childlike dreams. And it's just so interesting being an adult and experiencing that.
Wow. Yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, it goes to show, you know, what they say about psychedelics, how especially when you don't really have expectations. Like I'm sure you obviously knew what could happen as far as like the general aspect of doing LSD, but then to not really have that, you know, expectation of like this connection to dreams or the way it opened your mind, it really did expand your consciousness in a very profound way. And it's like now you know and you can't unknow. That's like the thing. It's
Mm-hmm.
like once you know, you can't unknow. And then I'm just going to throw out there, because I did ask permission from Wirmind to look at your chart and share about it. And we talked about this on your podcast, but you have, you know, 4 planets in the 12th house ruled by Aquarius. And so that 12th house is the access point to other realms, to multi dimensions, to, you know, to be able to even like escape reality. It is kind of that liminal space in itself. And then to have that in Aquarius is very eccentric, very otherworldly, and just like also it is the like Aquarius is that the mind, like is a sign, like an air sign basically, that corresponds to the mind. And so then to have it makes sense to have that open mind, that access point to you know, other realms or multi dimensions. And I'm like really curious. I'm not going to do it now, but I'm just so curious to see what was activated, what was going on that year when you did LSD, because I guarantee you something was going on, or connections were being made to that 12th house, or even the ninth house, which is the house of
Oh
dreams
yeah.
for you, is ruled by Scorpio. So then that's like the depth of that and the expanded of consciousness, and like even as you mentioned, embodying that experience where it's like, okay, I understand it logically. I knew that everything's connected, yes, but when you feel it like as a sensation, that's a whole new level, and it hits you deeper, like you said, on a cellular level. So that's pretty epic. That was amazing.
I was in my ninth house profection year.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you really can't make this up.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, the ninth house perfection means that the ninth house was the activated area of life for that year. And like I said, that ninth house, it is the house of dreams. Also, it's the house in which you are on a like even like an extended journey, basically, that connects you to a higher source of intelligence, expands your consciousness. So basically anything that can expand your consciousness, whether it's dreams, astrology, divination, it falls into that ninth house. And literally that year is the year where you had an LSD journey that expanded your consciousness. So for those out there that are like, astrology is not real, I'm just like, dude,
Hmm.
like you can't
Exactly.
make this up. Like I was just throwing it out there and you already knew. So that I love.
Look, I've been there. I've
Yeah.
been there. Once you dive in, you can't dive back out. Once
Once
you
you
know,
know.
you know.
Yeah. Wait, so
It's
there was a
so
time where
crazy.
you didn't believe in astrology, Alexis?
What was that?
Oh yeah. I essentially, like, my spirituality has always been kind of weird. So from a kid on, I kind of always identified with like a witch, even though I wasn't like really calling myself that. It's kind of just like my family. On my mom's side, they always called themselves witches. I always kind of just aligned with that. And then but I never was raised with any religion. Like, nobody. I think I stopped going to church when I was like 6 or 7, and then just like that was it. And then when I got into high school, I became a pretty intense atheist. And I'm not I'm still an atheist because I'm not I don't particularly believe in religion. It's just I just feel like everything's way more complex than what anything we have created can really bring to the table. But it wasn't until now more than a couple years ago, maybe 5 years ago, I started getting introduced to it slowly. And then I had a friend at the time who was very forceful about astrology, and it was very much in a way that was like um, superiority based rather than interest, and it was a whole thing. And then I kind of like, as I was being introduced and I had this experience with this friend, I backed off again. And it wasn't until Urania and I started talking that I really started to dive into it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Wow. That is so interesting. I wonder if was that person like saying like their sign was better? Like was it one of those superiority kind of things?
In a way, yes. It wasn't so much like my sign's better. It's more so in their whole existence was more important. Like,
Oh,
they possessed things that nobody else possessed, and they were more important. They were trying to like really push certain narratives down my throat, and it was a whole lot. And like, I'm somebody who's very like rebellious in general, so if you try to force me into anything, I'm immediately jumping the opposite way. Like
yeah.
even if it's a valid thing for me to like try and experience, if you're forcing me, I'm out. Like, I just can't.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yep, same.
It's probably the
It's the
Aquarius in all of
Aquarius.
Oh, it's
us.
totally the
Yeah.
we all get that. So speaking of storytelling, Wirmind, Sophia says, tell them what I share with you if she knows what I could be, if you know what you could be. Is that jogging in memory? It says, Wendy, tell them what I share with you if she knows what I could be. I meant if the dream I had, if it was a premonition. So was there a dream that Sophia had?
Oh, yes, yes. She was asking about a dream and she was asking me what I thought about it. And I was explaining to her that I'm not an interpreter and I do not interpret dreams. But she was talking about, well, she told me to, but I think the one she's talking about is one of her husbands had passed away. And after he passed away, she had one dream with him in it, like maybe like 2 nights or the same night after he passed away, and he came to her like in a monster form, and she told him like to not come back to her in that form. So she never had a dream about him again until a couple days ago or a couple weeks ago, but he looked normal.
Mm.
And he was with another woman. I don't remember too much of the details. I know he was with another woman, and she had that's I don't know if it was that same woman or another woman had told her a couple years after he passed away that he came to her in a dream and told her that he was okay, like he's okay, etc. So yeah, I think that's the one she's talking about.
Yeah.
So he came to her in the dream as like a monster.
That was immediately when he passed. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Huh.
To like right off the right off the rip. I don't know what I was trying to say, but it feels like well, when someone passes away, there's a lot of high emotion,
Mm.
and a part of the grieving experience is internal anger. It can be external too, but there could be an internal anger or resentment for that person simply just passing away. And even though you won't feel it or say it outwardly, it could come through in the subconscious. And like when he showed up in her dream space, the first thing that like in that monstrous form, what comes to mind is like this internal anger or resentment towards just the fact that he passed away, or even just aspects of the relationship that were still weighing heavy.
Yeah, it's like it's being worked through.
Yeah.
Right. And then it
Mm.
seems like the second time that he came back around, or like whenever that time was, as far as saying I'm okay and coming back in a different form, that felt like a visitation dream for sure.
Yeah.
Just
Mhm.
like, yeah, just as reassuring because that happens quite often. Well, where when they come back and just be like, I'm okay, or maybe they won't say it directly, but just the interaction with them or what's going on will bring that emotion, that feeling. It's like, oh, okay, they're good, right? And then it helps you to move on and move forward.
Yeah, a lot of times actually people will visit other people, like a past loved one will visit someone else because your emotions tend to be so high intensity that you aren't able to allow that in. So they go to another source to kind of like give that message to you, and then will return again when like you're more calmed, relaxed, and you've moved through some of those intensities.
Yeah. Thank you
Mm.
for sharing that. So
Hopefully, Sophia, you got some clarity from that.
So, yeah, let's talk about dreams as guidance, as that is the title of this conversation, and how dreams can really help you trust in taking the next step. So, I know, prior to us having this discussion tonight, Warmine, you shared that, dreams have been really helpful with you for you in reference to traveling and so forth, and just how to take action. So, do you want to share a little bit about that?
Oh my gosh, yes. I feel like, well, I'm a Mars in Pisces, so I feel like that is coupled with the way I take action. Like I kind of wait until I have a dream about something in order to do something about it. Um, I don't know. I just feel so much protection when I do something, when I have a dream about it first, because it's like, oh, I already did it. And so uh, from the moment that I started really getting into dreams and I started to notice that, let's say I had a thought about doing something like, I don't know, uh, doing a speech or something. And then, but maybe I was in my head in the waking life, in waking reality about it. And then I would have a dream where I was doing that speaking engagement or talking to someone about something that maybe in my head I didn't want to. I had the confidence afterward to then do that thing. And that happens a lot for me where um, I will. be in my head having anxiety about something, have the dream about me doing the thing that I'm having the anxiety about, and then I'm like, okay, everything's fine. Um, and that happens with travel a lot too. So there's been a lot of travels where I will not even be thinking about this place. Like recently, I went to London a couple months ago. London is one of those places, okay, it's a popular place, you know, but it's not a place that I could say maybe 2 years ago that it was on my bucket list. You know, you have those bucket list places that you're like, I have to go. London was not on that list for me because it's just not. Like, I could say a couple of things about that, but it's just not. And so then all of a sudden I started having dreams where I'm just like in London and I'm like, why am I there? And then I was like, okay, that means I gotta go. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. And that's why I went. And that happens to me for a lot of my travels where I really honestly won't go unless I have a dream about it because I feel like something's calling me there, which means I need to go. And so it's like I use my dreams as a tool. No, not even a tool, like a compass, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
for my journey. Yeah. And then I end up going someplace, something happens, or I meet somebody or whatever. And then, of course, it sets the tone for the next thing. And it's like I'm grabbing things in each journey and each dream for the next thing. Cause sometimes I'm just out here lost. Like, I feel like that's such a Pisces thing. I'm like, I'm lost. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what my goals are. Like, I do now because I'm a little bit more structured, but there was a point where I didn't have like a 5 year plan or a 10 year plan. I didn't even know what I was going to do next week. I'm like, I'll let the dream decide for me. So, yeah, that's how it is a lot.
I
Yeah.
love that. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
Well, what I wanted to ask is you said sometimes you have these dreams and you don't know why it's calling you there, but then you go and you like find out what it is that drew you there. So my question is this dream of London, like you had no interest in going there, but you ended up dreaming it and then you ended up following that. What was it that you found was calling you there? Like what was it that what was the thing that blossomed at the end of that or because of that trip? Like what doors were open? Like how do you feel like it enriched your life? What do you take from that? Was it just the experience or did you find that it was beyond that?
I think I haven't yet quite figured it out. It's London is still coming in my dreams, so I think there's probably a couple other trips that I need to take there. But I'm excited to see what comes up because I'm like there is definitely something there. But yeah, I don't know yet.
That's
Uh,
so interesting.
so it's like it's a recurring dream, which might lead to like recurring trips. That's
Yes.
I can totally relate to Mars and Pisces. I have Mars and Pisces, and with the
Ooh.
Scorpio rising, Mars is like my life navigator, the planet that I make decisions with. And I can totally relate when it comes to like having to take action and just like feeling the hesitation or just, yeah, like you need that extra oomph. Like, cause like Pisces is just like ethereal energy and like kind of all over the place. And so it's like, oh, I have to like do things and take action because I'm in a physical realm. Like I'm on earth, and that's the language of earth is like physical, like is action, right? To create that physical experience. And so it can be really challenging. And I love that you use the dream space in that way. And then you're like totally, you also do the whole dream work of reflecting on like the dream, then you act on the guidance, and then you are receptive to like you give space and time to like for like the reasoning of like what you just experienced to come through. So it's like you're continuing to let the dream inform you as well as like the experience. So it's a really fully integrated, definitely very Piscean as well, like just the act of receiving.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
letting that come to you and just being open to exploring more with it. And that's so inspiring.
It's so inspiring and like I don't so I feel like it's definitely a water Mars experience having that, but I know that mine's a little different. We were just talking about Warmind and I were just talking about this yesterday. Like my Mars is in the first house in Scorpio, and I have like zero ability to really take action, and everything's just so like I'm afraid of everything, and I don't like. So it's so interesting. I feel like I need to maybe channel that action through my dreams in order to have a better relationship with that Mars energy, because gosh, that's it really is so inspiring.
Oh yeah, so both of you have Mars in the first house. So I love, so we were saying this before, like how when we were on your podcast, or mine, that we all have like the connection, but it's like in different ways, like
Yeah.
especially with the Aquarius. And so it's like Wormine, you and I both have Mars in Pisces, but then you and Alexis both have Mars in the first house. So we
Yeah.
can each share and relate on that dynamic, and but it's still like that connection to like the dream space and just like that intuition and just that emotional type energy, right, of the water signs. So that's really, yeah, that's really cool, that's really
We
powerful.
also have the 12th house. Like you have 4 planets in there. I have a bunch. I feel like we both have that 12th house stellium energy
Yeah.
too coming through, which is that the Reddit we met on?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
great.
Yes.
About that.
I'm always
Yes.
posting on that freaking subreddit.
Yes, because I was looking, because I wanted to know if it was like a 12th house thing to keep a dream journal. And I was like, let me just look up. I need to see what the people on Reddit. I love forums. Oh my God. Like, I
Yeah,
love hearing what other people are comments, sections, and all this stuff, because you never know what people are saying in there. So, what
right.
recommendations and whatnot. And then I came across your post and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. Like, this is exactly what I was looking for without knowing what I was looking for, you know?
Right.
Yeah, because it's like, of course, I logically knew, yes, the 12th house is dreams, etc. And I know that, especially even Mercury in the 12th house might be a little bit more susceptible to writing their dreams down. But I was like, I don't know. I need validation here because I just feel like I'm a little too wrapped up in here. I need to meet other people who are also wrapped up in this.
I completely get that. It's really interesting because like I know that with my dream practice, like it's so random. Like I'll write dreams down so randomly. It's been a real big dry spell on my end lately. Like I have not been able to get into ritual. I have not been able to. I can voice message, like I voice message Urania all the time and tell her about our my dreams that I'm having, but to physically even type them out has been like pulling nails. Like I don't know what it is, but as of like the last several months, I don't know if it's just that there's so much going on and I haven't I am never grounded, so that also could play a huge role in it, but like I have been longing to get back into routine. It just hasn't happened. Like I got to work with my Mars. I got to get into action. I got to do something.
Scorpio going. Well, it's funny. I just had a conversation with the client today about this. And I mean, they prompted the question, but they asked, like, why do they not remember their dreams sometimes? And like the way, like what I have accepted for myself in many different aspects, not even just dreams, it's like I'll remember, like as far as dreams, it's like I'll remember what I need to remember. I'm not going to stress about it. Like obviously I didn't need to remember this aspect or didn't need to write it down, because when I have the dreams that I feel compelled to write down, like this morning, I write it down. I like either voice message, but I make sure I note it. And then I tend to journal on it because it's so profound and I really want to connect and go deeper with the dream. And so, yeah, it's just been a period like right now for me too, where I'm just not in the flow of writing every single dream. And I'm like, that's totally okay. I do have a lot going on, but I'll remember what I need to remember. Right. And if I don't remember it, or if I forget to write it down, which has happened before, it tends to like something will happen that will,
Trigger it.
like, yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I need to write that down, or I need to like take a note of it. Um, so we have a question from Sophia. Sophia says, how do you know if it's a sign or understand the message? So, especially Wormine in your dreams too, like now it's like an ongoing thing where like, okay, this location is coming up or a city or whatever, like you need to go there. But maybe in general, how do you know like this is something to pay attention to, and then also like understanding the message with that?
Ooh, hmm. I think it's main, and I hate to say it because it's so generic, but it's like a feeling. Um, it's like if the dream is a little bit, because I feel like when you develop a practice where you're dreaming, you start to notice what's normal and what's unusual. So then, if something like, for example, for me, animals don't really come in my dreams a lot. Cats, yes, but not like other kinds of animals. So when other kind of animals start coming in my dream, I'm paying a little bit more attention and I'm noticing, okay, that's a sign versus just like understanding the meaning of, let's say, when cats come in my dream, I automatically understand the meaning because they're like always there. So it's kind of like a feeling. It's like once I start to see something that's not usually there, my interest peaks a little bit more. What about you guys?
You want to go, Lex?
I just use my intuition. Like I'm really connected with my intuition and I can kind of like pick up on what something is pretty quickly. In a similar way, you know, there are things that are there pretty frequently that I kind of already know the breakdown to, but then there's things where you know, it comes in and it's not something that I'm, you know, experiencing a whole lot. And also I would say like trusting yourself is such a big aspect of dreaming. Like I know when other beings are in my dream, like have come into my dream space. I know when they pull me out of my own dream and bring me somewhere else. I know when I'm astral traveling to another air, like somewhere else that's outside of my own brain. I know when something is inside of my own brain. Like it's trusting your intuition, allowing that to guide you and not questioning it too much. Like you I think what tends to happen is like something will happen, you'll feel the intuition, you'll feel the emotion, and then you'll start to be like, well, what if I'm wrong? What if this isn't this? What if isn't that? But a lot of the times, that first instinct you have is really what you're experiencing. So it's really just diving deeper into trusting yourself.
Yeah. And there are always layers. So,
Oh, yeah.
you'll feel something initially, then reflect or like you give it space and then something else will be revealed, which is the beauty of the dream space in general. And I have the same signs or ways of receiving and knowing such as you two. And I'll also say it's like, this is the beauty and, the gift of like having a dream practice because like you said, like you'll start to notice your own like normal in your dream space and then things will stand out, but then also like the recurring themes, like things will shift and rotate. And like right now I'm having, for the past couple months, I've been having a period of recurring themes of like my dreams being in a restaurant. And like they started out initially as me being in the weeds because I spent like pretty much my professional career was a waitress, bartender, barista, manager, but all in restaurants up until like I started doing this full time. And then I was done with that. So it's interesting. Like I have a lot of things going on with my work and changes with that. And the restaurant tends to show up in my space. And over time, like initially it started with me being in the weeds and like I can't keep up and that's a message within itself. But then now, as of literally this morning, in the dream, I was in the restaurant, but instead I was doing tarot readings. Um, so
Ooh.
and actually, Wirmind, I'm getting goosebumps. I feel like your whole vibe of like the dream telling you what to do or taking action, like based on the dream, that literally happened this morning. I felt like that was like my dream, doing that. So it's interesting when you mention that. But yeah, I see the shifts. And so you start to really pick up on things. And all of us have our own, unique way of like how our consciousness or our inner being speaks to us. And so, and this is why it's like doing dream work, paying attention to your dreams really helps you connect more deeply to yourself because no one knows you better than your subconscious or your inner self or higher self, however you want to look at it. And so, this is what inspired me to really get into dream work, because I'm like, I need to know, like, I can't figure this, like, no one outside of me is helping me figure it out. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go into the dream space. This is one thing that's been on my list. So yeah, that's how I, essentially know when it's a sign and understand the message. And again, it'll be so many layers to the dream, and you can use tarot. Like, I like to use tarot to like go deeper with the dream, or having community, so sharing your dreams with people that you trust. And like, sometimes they'll just feel something when you share the dream, and they're like, oh yeah, I felt this, right? They don't even need to know how to interpret it, but it might elicit an emotion, and that emotion that they feel might unlock something further for you in that guidance. And so there's so many ways to like just, to be able to understand your dreams, but it's a matter of just like making that connection, taking that step.
I love that you mentioned the aspect of community and sharing and getting outside perspective, because I don't think people understand truly how important it is. Like, you may know what your dream is about, and then you'll talk to three other people, and all of a sudden, it just opens the door into deeper understanding of yourself. It's so important. I cannot stress that enough.
And sometimes like you might get an interpretation where you're like, I'm gonna go with my intuition. And that's the thing
Yeah,
too. It's like,
yeah,
Mhm.
that's the whole point. You're gaining perspective, but then at the end of the day, you got to go with your intuition and how you truly feel about it.
absolutely. I
Yeah.
do think diving into the dream space and diving into yourself is probably one of the biggest rebellions you can have just against the system that we've been like in for so long, because it's been doing a lot of work to disconnect us from ourselves. So if you're looking for another reason to dive into dream work, like, it's to rebel against the system and become whole.
Yes. Oh
Aquarius,
my gosh.
Yes,
Yes.
the Aquarius.
Aquarius moon.
Literally, it's like it's so revolutionary. And
Yes.
even just in terms of like the rules, right? These rules of reality in and of itself, and the rules that have been placed on us by society, by family, by other people around us, just based on ignorance. I mean, the government, that's a whole nother topic. But in terms of like the people closest to us, usually it's due to ignorance. We don't know. And I feel like dreams, they open up this space to let us know, like, the rules are so much greater than we can imagine, or maybe there's no rules. And finding out the possibilities of reality in and of itself, and then bringing it back to waking life. I don't know, it's hard. I feel like it's hard to explain in words, but it's like when we have dreams that just like blow our minds, and then it's like, oh, I didn't know I could experience, like for example, flying, right? We're talking about flying in the dreams, and then in reality, we have these aerodynamic rules and gravity rules that we cannot fly. And so I feel like, and this is my woo woo side, it's like, if we all as a collective knew that we could fly in dreams and astral travel and all that stuff, what could we really do in waking reality that would be kind of like a reflection of that, of letting us know of our freedom, and how free we truly are and stuff like that. And like how the rules that have been put in place, they're just there to suppress us. But like, there's just so much more out there that we don't even know about, but that dreams give us access to.
Mm, yeah, that's so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's interesting to think about sometimes, because I'm like, wow, like there's just so much more to life. And we're just like scratching the surface with dreams. And the things that we can just the things that we can do, the things we can see, the I don't know, it's just fascinating.
It is. And to add on to that, even just the aspect of astral travel, like being outside of your own self, or your own inside your mind, you're outside of that, and you're on different planes of existence and different dimensions, and just all these other, I don't know, I don't even know how to describe them, but like it's so expansive, and it I feel like it is often an inspiration there have been so many people through history who have used their dream experiences as a way to inspire their waking life, you know, inventions or music or movies or ideas or anything. Like, I mean, it's just, it's a wellspring of experience that we're not taking advantage of. Well, we
Yeah,
are.
we are.
Well, and it's interesting now, like after really being like immersed in my dream space and talking with others and just hearing all the different dreams and stuff, now it's like I can't like watch a movie or read a book or even see certain art. And I'm just like, oh, I bet you that was like a dream. Like something, I feel like a dream inspired this. Like sometimes you just know, because I'm like, how the heck did you like come up with this? Like this is wild. And it's just, it's really amazing. And it always gets me thinking too, because it's like we all experience like create like some aspect of like, I don't want to say crazy, but just like very like otherworldly type experiences in our dreams. Even if it happens once, I'm sure everybody has a story. And it really gets me thinking too, like it's like what's really real, you know what I mean? Like it's like we had this physical reality, but then there's so much going on behind the scenes within dreams. And even like when you start to really pay attention to your dreams and you start bridging, like you see the connection between your waking life and your dreaming life, and how it starts to like weave itself together, and it's like you're living in like this like meshed reality, and they like
Mm-hmm.
reinforce each other and reflect each other. Is just like okay, what's really real, what's
Yeah.
going on here, right? So
Well,
then it opens up more exploration.
we've discussed this before on the podcast too, but it makes me think of like if say that dreaming and waking are essentially one, right? Like there's how often are we going to sleep and waking up in a different reality than we went to sleep in? Like
Mm-hmm.
how do we know?
Ooh,
Like what if the differences are so minute that you don't know whether or not you're waking up in the same reality that you went
Well,
to
it's said
sleep
that
in?
like a lot of people or a lot of mystics say that we're not like you're never gonna have that same reality once. Like
really?
like even without the dream space, it's just like
Right,
from decision, from action, like there's
right.
still always a subtle difference. And I even see
Everything's changing.
with
Mm,
astrology too, I'm like, you're never gonna have that moment of your birth. Like that happens once. Like you're never gonna have that same exact imprint again. Like there's always like a subtle difference. So if that's happening, like if you're looking at these snapshots within like, say someone's birth chart, that's definitely got to be happening like in these different moments of our reality, and then going to sleep, adding that in and waking up. And so there was one period where I was like really feeling into that intentionally, where I'm like, okay, I'm going to wake up in like this reality or like this with this feeling. And that's actually, I need to do that again. But that's something to play. And I know that that was a lot of fun and that I could see that reflection. And so, yeah, that'll take you down a rabbit hole for
oh
sure.
yeah. I've heard of that before. I'm trying to remember. Isn't it like quantum shifting? Like
Probably like quantum.
reality hopping?
Oh, reality surfing.
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's
Yeah.
there's a book. There's like a book by some Russian quantum physicists, and it's yeah. Like I read it a long time ago or listened to the audio book, but yeah, and that's I mean it's really trippy.
I'm
Um,
gonna have to look into that book because I this topic gets me so excited that I can't contain myself because you just don't know. Like there's no way of truly knowing. How do you
Yeah.
know? How do you know that you wake up and everything you went to sleep with like is the same as it was when you woke up? And like you said, it's not because everything's changing. You know, like if we look at it from like a large scale, like people are being born, people are dying, you
mhm.
know, people are there's so much shift, so much change, so essentially you're really not like, but I mean in your own like world, what is changing that you're not noticing from when you go to sleep to when you wake up, and how do you know it's not like you being intentional about it too?
Yeah.
Because I
Hmm.
think that I have learned that intention is so powerful, and I have a habit of falling into like I'm gonna say like complacency, where like I'll be really intentional and then I'll just kind of be like drifting and like just kind of like here. And then I'll go back to being really intentional. And like I can't seem to like get my like keep myself grounded in that intention. But like I notice the difference when I'm just drifting versus when I'm being intentional with everything I do.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I feel like that, what it makes me think of, I was telling Urania the other day when she was asking about the topic. And then I was telling her about how I can read a book and like absorb, like let's say I'm reading a book about lucidity or trans surfing, reality surfing. And then I will put that intention and put that practice into play maybe like a day or two. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this. Like this is great. And then like it'll happen. I'll do it. I'll notice the change, etc. And then I'm like, and then I don't know, I forget about it or I become ungrounded or whatever. And then I don't do it again. And it's like a pattern that I've noticed with like several things. And I'm like, I see the proof, the evidence is in the pudding, and then I just like put it down and I'm like, okay, that's enough.
Well,
I don't know.
maybe that's totally fine too. Like one, I think that that's like definitely a Mars and Pisces experience and probably a water Mars as in general. But then also like as we're talking about it, I'm like, that's probably okay because it's like you saw, like you experienced,
Yeah.
you got the proof, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, then you kind of just went on with natural flow of energy. And that happens to me all the time. And it's like I have several different routines and things in place. So it's like I'll be in one routine and then the same thing will happen after a while. It's like I drift off. And I do feel like once you're in awareness that you're like, oh shoot, I'm like not grounded or I'm like not structured right now, then you have that moment where you're like, okay, then I have another routine. So it's like as Mars and Pisces, I have like all these like little routines. So once I get kind of like bored of one, I go to the other, but they all serve in their own
Yeah.
way. And then
Yeah.
that in between also serves because I don't know, like, I'm doing what I need to do when I need to do it at this point. Like I'm
That's true.
really doing my best not to like force or feel like I should. And then when
Mm,
I'm in awareness of like, okay, this isn't serving me right now, then I can just step into whatever it is that I need to do. Right. So I
yeah.
understand there's like the balance of it, of course, and the frustration. But yeah, so and that's how I've been
I
approaching the dream space too.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it also could be contributing. Like for me, I always feel like my 12th house planets are just so, because for all three of us, our air signs are aligned with water houses.
Hmm.
So
Mm,
that aspect of things just being so in flow, I feel like it's almost, I'm not going to say impossible, but near impossible to really stay grounded. Like for me personally, it's so, I know Urania, you have your Capricorn moon. So like I feel like you
A lot
have
of
the
Capricorn.
benefit of that kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But like I don't really, I think I have two planets a in an earth sign. And one of them is Neptune. I think it's
Yeah, I
Neptune.
know. Yeah,
I
Neptune and
think it's Neptune
that
and
ain't helping.
Uranus are in
Yeah,
Capricorn.
they're not
And
doing any work for you.
they're not
yeah.
doing anything. They're not doing anything. We have all this like air and water just kind of like getting together and just flowing, that
Yeah.
like everything I do is so abstract and there's no routine and I'm just kind of just flowing. Like I
They're
feel
like
like I've just been,
bubbles.
yeah, I just feel like I'm
Yes.
like bubbles that have been caught in the wind and I'm just like happy to be here. And like it's so hard to feel like the roots grounded. I need to, that's definitely something that I feel I personally need to really put more intention into in order to get more intentional more consistently.
Yeah.
Mm. Yes. No. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I totally feel, well, lately a little more grounded only because I went to a river recently and I was just like in the water and I felt like so at one with the water. I've been using that memory as a way to stay grounded, and it's so funny because I was in the water. But yeah, that feeling of like being kind of like everywhere and not being grounded and literally just like being like a leaf just flowing in the wind. or a fish in the water, and just you're just, taking your direction from the wave and stuff like that. Like, I completely resonate with that. Oh my gosh. And that's why sometimes when I'm like stagnant about something, I'm like, oh my God, like, why am I stagnant? Because I just feel like I'm always supposed to be on the move. Like, water is,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, other than Scorpio, like Scorpio water is, you know, still, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like. And then I feel like the other waters, but like maybe like more so Pisces too, is like the ocean, and so vast, and there's so many things happening, and and then you have the water mixed with the air like a hurricane. And so I just constantly feel like I need to be moving, I need to be moving, I need to be doing this, I need to be doing that, even though I don't know what that thing is. But and so then when I'm moving and I'm doing things, and then I'm like, oh wait, what am I supposed to be doing? Why does this, I don't know, it's a mess sometimes.
Yeah. No, I can totally relate. I'm grateful at times for my Capricorn. Sometimes it's really annoying, but I'm glad that I have it. So, because it definitely keeps me in check. But
I
yeah,
feel like your Capricorn mood keeps me in check too.
right. Oh,
Earth signs are so, oh my gosh, they're so valued. Like,
yeah,
uh,
good. They're really good. But
yeah.
wow, this has been such an amazing conversation. Just want to share anyone that's still here and watching, if you have any last minute questions, feel free to ask us. But in the meantime, Wormine, can you tell everyone where they can, find you and connect with your work and what you're sharing?
Yes. So I have a Substack where I write about dreams. I'll write about the connection between dreams and waking reality. And then I have a podcast where I talk about like consciousness, and it's like super woo woo. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm talking about on there. And I'm also doing dream journaling events. So I have one upcoming in St. Petersburg, Florida in May. But you can follow me on Instagram at Wirmind to get more information. And I also wanted to say that the name Wirmind came to me in a dream. It was a parallel reality dream where I stumbled into that reality. My consciousness in this reality stumbled into that reality, and I saw that I had a business with the name Wirmind, and then I took it back with me here. So yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh, look at you just bridging like the dreaming and the waking. And that's the lucid living. I love that. I didn't know that.
I love that. I think that is so cool. And I actually do have one question, if you don't mind. So, my question is, do you remember the first dream you had after your lucid trip? And what was it?
Oh my God. Wait. After my LSD trip?
Yeah, yeah, LSD.
Oh.
Sorry, I saw LSD on my page, and my brain just went lucid.
No, I do not. Yeah, maybe if I think about it, but it wasn't until Scorpio season. So I had that LSD trip Taurus season that
Okay.
year, and it wasn't until Scorpio season until I started writing them down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do you
Yeah.
remember the first one you wrote down?
No, but I have it written down somewhere.
Love it. I love it because it's going to be some food for thought for you for later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at it right now after we're done.
Yeah, I'm excited to see, what dreams we have tonight, because I feel like they're gonna be fun, hopefully. Yes, they're gonna be fun. I want to
Okay.
really, I think I might try to sleep with the intention of I'm gonna try to like ask for it to wake up in this particular reality. Just a subtle difference, but it's gonna be more of like a feeling, an emotion, and just being inspired and, productive. Maybe I mean I've been pretty productive, but just being inspired and just being at peace, having that serenity. I think that's
Mm.
something that I'm like, serenity's nice.
Oh yes. Yeah. I'm gonna follow you into Serenity.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do yet.
Just go with the flow.
I'm still thinking about the dream I had last night and, like, just the whole. Because, you know, when one of my favorite things about dreaming is like the sensory experience. It's like everything you feel in the dream, you would feel in real life. Like, and so I had a very sensory dream last night, and like I just like keep thinking about it. So maybe I'll explore that a little deeper. Just give me something, you know, weird sensory wise to experience and bring with me into the next day.
Yeah, we need to do a chat about that. We haven't done that.
We do.
Been having a few of those, which they're like really intense when that happens. I'm like, not in necessarily a bad way, but it just catches me off guard because then I realize I'm like, oh, like not all my dreams I feel so viscerally, but it's like
Mm.
when I do have those very sensory ones, like I'm like, whoa, like that in itself is like a message for me personally.
I feel like I have that visceral feeling all the time, but I don't always have it with my body.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like last night, it was my body, like
Oh, right. Yeah.
specifically my body.
Yeah.
And that was like, it's just so
Well, next
bizarre.
week is Dark Moon Dream Reflection, so we should probably share because
I am not
yeah,
gonna,
somewhat
I'm gonna
similar.
do my lips.
Oh yes, I can't wait to hear about this.
But awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. I know we'll
Thank
have you
you.
back.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, yes, sweet dreams.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Awesome. Alrighty. Good night, everyone. Sweet dreams.
Good night, sweet dreams.